Let's make this happen. It's only $5. It's a great story. I'm going to get it myself. Jackie Gleason and President Nixon view alien bodies at Homestead Air Force Base. Need I say much more than that? I hope not. Now, I want all of you to go. Go ahead, Clark. You want to say something?
Can I say one thing, please?
Of course you can.
Von Braun and I discussed many topics, including ET life in the 1960s. He confirmed my suspicions that there were many other star races and that the Earth had many such colonies here. He said the Earth is a nursery for many such star-seeded races that colonize our planet, and stated, look at the variations of humans, the cultures, religious beliefs, customs, physical appearances, food, clothing, and wars. He was telling me our planet's a nursery.
Okay, so the basic racial characteristics of the major racial groups on the planet are evidence of either genetic manipulation or genetic seeding of some kind. You have the black, the Caucasian, certainly the Latino or brown, and then the Asians are obviously different.
They're obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, his nursery comment had my head swimming that night.
I'm sure.
And another thing, a real big fact. In 1997, a substellar companion was found orbiting Aldebaran.
Oh, really?
A planet, or some call it a red dwarf star.
Uh-huh.
But who's correct? A planet or a red dwarf star? The planet, if it is a planet, is bigger than Jupiter.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm saying that for a reason. When I was observing an STS mission, I won't say which one, I observed an 8 to 9 foot tall ET in the Space Shuttle payload bay with 2 of our NASA astronauts.
Let me point everyone to rense.com. Please reload the page, refresh the page, and I've waited, and it's up there now. Look under Clark McClelland's name, tall ET in the shuttle cargo bay. Pull that, click on that, pull up the picture, and that is what Clark is talking about. Now, tell us the circumstances of, I don't want the mission name, but how were you viewing this? How many others were viewing this?
Well, I was in the launch control center in a secret room monitoring the mission. And I believe that night my teammate, when there's missions in progress, there's a lot to watch, but not too much activity. So he was studying for a master's degree the next morning, and I put him in the vault that we had. I locked it. I spun the lock. I said, "You study and you pass that test tomorrow." So I went out and took care of his business and mine. There wasn't that much really to do. I went out to get a coffee. I went over to the fax machine to see if there was anything there, and there was nothing there for us to follow through with. I went back to my 6 monitors, 27-inch TV screens. I looked at the first one. There was not much there. Second one, I noticed something behind the tail section of the shuttle. The third one was zoomed in on the payload bay. I saw 2 NASA astronauts, one left, one right, of this 8 to 9 foot tall creature. I can't say it was an ET. I don't know. But we don't have 8 to 9 foot tall astronauts. And this object behind the tail section was an alien craft I've never seen before.
How accurate, Clark, is that representation of what you saw? Are you really right on with it? Do you feel
right on? I'll tell you why.
Uh-huh.
I knew the shuttle inside out, being a spacecraft operator. I had to know the size of the payload bay. I had, without a doubt, estimated that height 8 to 9 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been 10 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Very accurately. And I knew the shuttle inside out. I was complimented many times by astronauts because of my SCO duties for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I have a friend I met after my observation that observed the same type of 8 to 9 foot tall creature in the crew compartment inside of the space shuttle. Now, it's not built or designed for an 8 to 9 foot tall giant.
No, and this is a...
It was stooped over. I have not released the graphics on that yet. I looked at the VCR I had at the time. There was always a tape in there. The night this happened to me with the creature in the payload bay, the second shift, forgot to put a tape in the damn machine. I would have taped it.
Well, things like that happen. It's amazing. When you look at the picture, all of you, click on again. It's below Clark's name. You'll see right smack in the middle of the payload bay. It's a humanoid, very much looking like a human. 2 arms, 2 legs, with a large helmet and a very large view screen of glass or something like that the creature can see through. We call it. It looks very much like a very large human being. The 2 astronauts look like children next to it. But this is what Clark saw. Your jaw must have dropped just about to the floor.
I was on a chair. I leaned back. I was afraid I was going to fall backward.
I would think.
and my coffee, I nearly choked when I took a sip of it because I had to have something going down my throat. And by God, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I had no witness. And all I can ask the people hearing this is, believe it or not, but I'm not lying I'm not telling you a lie. My reputation's up for consideration right now. I would not be lying.
Clark, I've known you for a long time, and you've never, ever come even close to pushing the limits of anything. You've always told it pragmatically, logically, and comprehensively.
Right.
You don't play games.
We have developed a craft called the TR3B.
I want to talk to you about that next.
Okay.
So stand by. We'll take a quick break.
Okay.
When we come back, I want you to describe just in a minute or so what the tall ET did with the 2 astronauts in the cargo bay to the best of your ability.
Right.
And we don't want to spill the whole story. This is going to be in your book when it comes out in great detail. But the TR3B is something I broke on this program a long, long time ago.
Oh, yes. I know that.
And we'll talk about that with the remarkable Clark McClelland in just a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, welcome back. Talking with Clark McClelland. If any of you have seen the SDS videos on the internet, YouTube especially, you'll know that there is an awful lot of activity around shuttle missions and the ISS up there, intelligent activity, and it's not us. Okay, a little bit, just a tiny bit more, and Clark's book, The Stargate Chronicles, hopefully will be published soon. It's got bestseller written front to back on it, but will any of the majors touch it? You know the answer to that. Now, what did they do in the cargo bay? Just give us a little bit more information.
Okay, real quick on that. I only observed it for 1 minute and 7 seconds. Now, a lot of people say, oh, my God, that's such a short time. But you see, I'm a trained observer. And during 1 minute and 7 seconds, I observed so much, and I'm also an artist. So I was able to sketch down what you see on my website. I had someone do the artwork, coloration and all, but the creature was waving its arms as if it was instructing the 2 NASA astronauts. I didn't hear anything. I had no capability of doing that. But I do honestly believe after 1 minute and 6 to 7 seconds, NASA Houston realized, here I am observing this, maybe even taping it. And whammo, away it went. And zoomed past, and I could see this craft behind the tail section of the shuttle. And it looked pretty big, too, but I can't say the size because I had nothing to estimate it with.
Wow. What an interesting shape. It does have an aerodynamic shape, which would look to lend itself to flying through a thick atmosphere. It's got wings.
That